What's up, everybody? Let's go!
Oh my gosh, bro.
So
that
good,
was
right?
fire.
So good.
My God.
So good. So good.
Somebody, I was standing up like, ah.
Oh, man, we are so excited. Hey, everyone, welcome to LTG Live. Peter and I are
What is
excited
up, people?
Lead the Gen Conference is coming. Woo!
My goodness. Bro,
May
after that
7th
promo, I'm
and 8th.
rewriting my message, bro. I'm rewriting
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Man, this is so good. We're so excited. We got an amazing guest today. Jeanne Mayo is in the house. I don't, can we call it house?
GOAT.
She's in the live stream. She's in the live stream. So it's
The
going to be amazing.
absolute GOAT, man.
Come on. It's going to be incredible. We're going to introduce her in just a moment. But hey, you introduce yourself first. Introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're watching from. Give a shout out to mom in a minute whenever we introduce her. Peter, yo, I caught your Instagram post. You had, Emily, you baptized a bunch of kids last night. Just like give us real quick, man. This is amazing. God's doing some great stuff in your ministry.
Dude, our team came together and they absolutely crushed the small event that we had last night, man. 27 kids got baptized. It was unbelievable. The atmosphere and the energy, bro. Just, I was so gracious. And then obviously we're just so hyped. We miscalculated the numbers. So many more kids got saved. We were just like, oh, what a night. It made you want to do youth ministry forever.
That's
forever
it,
and ever and ever.
That's it. Hey, for every youth pastor watching right now, man, Peter and I just prayed that last night was amazing.
That's my youth pastor right there. That's Abby right there. That's our.
Let's
that's
go,
our youth
Abby.
pastor.
Welcome.
Yes.
Go. But man, we pray, man, your youth ministry is incredible, and that there's those moments every single week that just keep you coming back to love on students and love this generation. So that's so cool. So many of you jumping in right now. Jonathan Gonzalez, we see you from Ocean City, New Jersey. Ricky, we see you out there. Ty Buckingham, let's go, bro. Was a guest on the show not too long ago, so glad that so many of you are here. Hey, Peter, real quick, tell everybody why they need to go register for Lead the Generation Conference. Ready, set, go.
It is your time to build your youth ministry and take it to another level. And if you want to do it, man, Lead the Generation is an easy way to inspire, encourage, and challenge your entire team. It's time for us to go to the next level. This is going to be the best year of youth ministry we've ever had. Go sign up immediately.
It's an online conference. It's an online conference, but here's the thing. Peter, we have one of our youth pastors here in Pennsylvania on Monday bought 50 tickets because he is doing a leadership retreat at his church, bringing all of his students in. They're going to eat a meal together Friday night. Conference kicks off 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then they all do the conference together. Then he's doing late night leadership development, fun and games, hanging out, praying together with his team. His students are staying overnight, and then they're doing the rest of the conference. So if you leverage this thing right, you can do leadership training for your entire team of students and leaders,
guess what?
right? That's how to do it.
Guess what? I'm doing that too. You're not the only one that can do that. Whoever did that, I'm doing it too.
I know.
I'm having a leadership retreat too. Abby, write that down. We're doing a leadership retreat May 7th and 8th. Lead the Generation. Let's pop it. We're doing that.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so we are so excited. We're so excited, and probably, if we're going to be honest, Peter, the reason why we're so excited is not just because the conference is coming, but because we have a guest today that means so much to both of us, has had such an unbelievable impact in our lives personally, in our our marriages, in our ministries, like every part.
100%.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of you watching right now. You need to click that share button because you want your leaders and your youth pastor friends to hear what the one and only Jeanne Mayo is going to share today. So come on, we can't wait any longer. Let's welcome her. Everybody welcome the one and only Jeanne Mayo.
Hi, what fun. I'm laughing that Peter is deciding he's going to do a lock-in with his leaders. Way to go, buddy.
Wait a minute. I didn't say I was staying. I said we're doing it. I didn't say I was staying, Mom. Come on.
Yeah. So good.
Hey, can I just say something, though? Me and Joanna are still doing what we're doing, and we didn't quit in the last season of ministry because of you. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're very kind. Thank you. My honor.
Yeah.
I'm massive.
And I'm still married because of you. No, seriously. I'm serious. We just went through a tough season of infertility, and you encouraged her and challenged her and blessed her. and we're still married, happily married people, by the way, and we're doing really good. Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
I just wanted to say that publicly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, hey, let me echo a similar comment there, Mom, because it was, man, I've lost count how many years ago it was.
A
that
while.
I was on my way to Cadre. I was honored to be in the first year that you were doing Cadre.
16 years ago, number one.
16 years ago, right? And but here's the thing, I was ready to quit. I was ready to quit youth ministry, and what happened in my heart those 2 days there with you and Cadre and the crew that I was with was an absolute game changer. And so on this note, Peter and I are both talking about an experience that we've had with you called Cadre, a coaching experience that's up close and personal. There it goes. Right. Yeah, absolutely. So listen, we're posting a link right now in the chat, because Peter and I can't recommend and encourage enough for all of you youth pastors and leaders out there, that you check out Cadre, that you put yourself in a position where someone as amazing as the one and only Jeanne Mayo, who we lovingly call Mom, is able to speak into your life, encourage you, challenge you, sharpen you, rescue you from your own personal pitfalls at times, right? Identify some of your blind spots as a leader, right? And so, Peter, anything you want to add why people need to check out Cadre?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll say this first and foremost. If you're even thinking about on Cadre, me and Joe will sponsor the first $100. So hit me up on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll give you the first $100 for you to go.
Wow.
Number two,
Wow.
like I said, our youth pastors on here, Abby, she's doing it next year. Abby, I'm telling you already that you're doing it. So she'll be signed up as soon as this is over. You need to do it though, man. It was such a game changer for us. It was an opportunity for us to be really ministered to. And there's no other space like it. And so, you know, it's kind of one of those things where we like last night, we're telling our kids, we're like, hey, come to this pizza party. And then we're like, just kidding, you're getting baptized, you know? It was good for us because, you know, you come in that room and I'll be honest with you, you're like, what is this really about? And then all of a sudden you're crying, you got tissue stuck to your face. You're like, am I even good? You know? And then Jeanne just tells you you're amazing. You're like, I'm pretty great. And then she reminds you like saw Jesus. You're like, okay, it's just a roller coaster of emotions. People, it's amazing. You got to do it. It's life-changing for real. It was the best thing we've done in ministry thus far.
We're back in the home next year, Peter. This one year I had to do it at churches because of beloved COVID. But next year we just put all the dates on the calendar. The advances are back in the house again.
Let's go. That's amazing. That's amazing. Right. Please tell me you still have my favorite chair, that you're never going to get rid of that chair. Like that was like, I would race to your house in the morning just to make sure I got to sit in that.
The brown one that leans back. The brown one.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Got it. That was Sam's chair, Aaron. I'm not getting rid of that chair. That was Sam's chair. It's really
you were racing to the chair.
Huh?
He was racing to the chair. I was just in the kitchen the entire time. You're like, this session's starting. I'm like, I'm coming.
Monkey Brad, do you remember? I laughingly say to all of you, we're serving it after my funeral 30 years from now. Because you're going to have a big Cadre reunion next door after you go, yay, she's dead. And then you're going to have Monkey Bread and then other Cadre yay highs. Okay.
Amazing. Well, Mom, I don't
know that many names I recognize. I'm not going to call. The only name I'm going to recognize, and Shar, get back on the chat and tell me that you're hearing me say this. Shar Blair, you are epic. We have not talked in forever. I want to reconnect if you can. Shar, Aaron has my phone number, my cell phone. Hit him up later on because we haven't talked forever. You are epic. And I just want to reconnect and hug you over the phone. No agenda. Shar, text me again if you're even. I saw your name. You're not listening to any of this. Yeah, she's not hearing any of this.
No. She just commented.
There she is. Okay. All right, Shar, do you hear that? Hit Aaron up for my cell phone and text me, and we'll just no agenda. I was so fun when I saw your name.
Yeah. Amazing. Shar was one of our guests on the live stream earlier this season.
Well,
Had an
she's
incredible
brilliant.
conversation.
Brilliant.
She's
Oh.
one of our session speakers for the conference. So
Doubly
we're so
brilliant.
excited about it.
I
So
would go
excited
to
about
her.
that.
All right.
So, well, Mom, we want to talk leadership today. Again, let me just encourage you one more time. If you haven't shared this stream yet, click the share button right now, because Mom is amazing, and you're going to want your friends, your youth pastors, your leaders, whoever's out there and available right now to watch it. If you're listening to this or you're watching it after the live stream is over, thanks for joining us. You can always subscribe to the podcast version of this afterwards, and you can catch the audio that way. But Mom, there's so many people jumping on, chatting, saying hello to you, and they're just excited to hear from you today. So Mom, you and I decided that we should center and focus this conversation around one of the most important aspects of healthy ministry, and that's growing your team, right? Every great ministry needs a team, right? And you've modeled that for us so well in over 50 years of ministry experience. Those of us that have tracked with you for a portion of that, right? And we've seen you build incredible ministries, but there's always been an incredible team that's helped it happen. So, wherever you're at, however God was using you and Sam, there was always an incredible team. And so we thought today this would be incredible to have you speak into our hearts as leaders, and to encourage us with some thoughts about how do we do this, and specifically what are some key hurdles and how we grow our leadership team. So you got a bunch of different thoughts for us. And so typically what Peter and I do is we bring a guest on and say, share a thought, and then we pause and have a conversation. But we just really want to hear from you today. So we're going to let you roll through your thoughts, and then we're going to circle back with you. And Peter and I are going to just kind of ask some questions about what you've shared. I'm sure those of you that are watching live right now, you're going to have questions as well. So please feel free to drop in the chat while Mom's talking what some of your questions are on this topic of key leadership hurdles, key hurdles to growing your leadership. So Mom, thanks for joining us. We love you. So excited. Take it away. Talk to us about growing our leadership team.
All I'm going to talk about, and I have notes that expound on all 6 of them. All I'm going to do is just basically hit all 6 up top very quickly. Then you and Peter can come back and with our friends that are part of this and blast questions to zoom in on each of them. But gosh, and happy Easter, everybody. If you showed up for this call right before Easter, you're even more spiritual than everybody else. Gosh, Easter, if you're a typical church, you feel like you need to spend more time relaxing and sleeping in the empty tomb before you pop out again. So,
yeah.
All right. So key hurdles in growing your leadership team. And by this, I mean your volunteers. Yeah. Obviously, I think and this would be young adult and youth ministry, but this is really almost any team that anybody wants to grow. Number 1, the people you want to help you are already too busy. Mm-hmm. And gosh, sometimes as ministers, if truth be told, we're so disorganized ourselves that if somebody really wanted to help us, they wouldn't know how. We wouldn't be able to tell them how. And so they're already busy. I say often, time is the new currency of the 21st century. And I believe that even more than money. And see, again, you want to consider for myself, and if you want me to talk about it, I can later on. I have 3 levels that you could volunteer for in our leadership structure, each with descending degrees of time and influence as a result. And I wrote on my notes here, if you don't want to give people if you don't give people a project, they will often make you their project. So when I had leaders, I wanted again to make it valuable enough that no matter how busy they were, I could find a block that they could do, and they could feel very fulfilled. That's the key, fulfilled. Number 2 hurdle in growing your leadership team, the people you want to help you are secretly not too impressed with your leadership or your current ministry.
Wow.
And again, just because you stand up and kind of hype it out on the platform, especially if somebody is a leader, if they're a leader, they can feel past that, you know.
Right.
And the first time they attend whatever your service is, they're going to pick that up. That doesn't mean size. Some of the best groups can be 10 kids or 1,000. It really doesn't matter. But many of them are going, gosh, if I were as disorganized, and then they're thinking secretly, my tithe money is paying for that guy. You know, but anyway, immaterial. But, you know, we want quality leaders, but quality leaders are not attracted to be a part of an organization which is sloppy, starts late, no follow through, nothing clear. I wrote on my notes, in the realm of leadership, please always remember we attract who we are, not who we want. You hear that? We attract who we are, not who we want. And so, you know, again, I could say lots of stuff on that, but why should a CEO even volunteer with us if we can't even start the meetings on time? Or much less ask them to come to a leadership meeting when all we're doing is reading over a calendar that we could send them in the email. Number 3, the people you want to help you have been disappointed by previous church leadership positions. And gosh, how true that is. You know? I think we've got this amazing advantage. If you happen to be working with youth or young adult, we can give them something to do with their lives that really is tipping point stuff. Yeah. And it's so much more than sign up to work. And nothing's wrong with all these other things. I better not give examples, or the minute I do, somebody on here is going to say, I run that ministry at our church. And well, that's cool. But I'm just saying, gosh, they've been disappointed. And lots of times church leaders attempt to motivate people by guilt. And you can get people to sign up for leadership by an impassioned, guilt-ridden little pitch. But boy, it's tough to keep them in that long haul out of that motivation. And so lots of people, they've been disappointed because it wasn't at all what it was sold to them. They felt very little. See, everybody wants to feel like they make a difference in somebody else's life. I mean, there's the real, whether they're doing sound with you. Oh, look at how cute Joanne is. I adore her. You look skinny, baby. You know, whether it is, stop smiling, Peter, whether it's, you know, just, they're your sound people, they're your greeters. They want to feel like there's some people with names and cell phones that they make a difference with. And so, you know, gosh. Then number 4, the people you want to help you. And I've already alluded this, but I want to hit your notes. Don't have the time to sit through worthless leadership meetings. That's number 4. They don't have the time to sit through worthless leadership meetings. On the other hand, if you've got a leadership team, and some of you are going, that's great, because that's why I don't have any. No, that's not supposed to be your answer. Okay? That's not, whoa. What sports team never gets together until the game? I mean, that's preposterous. But you have to make it worth their while in coming. And that's another whole coaching scenario. But gosh, you got to do more, like I said, than just read dates. It's great to highlight dates again, because nobody reads emails anymore. I go, for crying out loud, I've sent you these emails 12 times. But that's quick. Then you come back and you connect with pragmatics. Like even when we were deciding what I was going to share on today, I wanted to lean in to something that's pragmatic, that most everybody, all of you, even if you're not in youth and young adult ministry, have some volunteer team you're trying to motivate to be with you. So Your leadership meeting has to have pragmatics, but then, gosh, it's also got to have heart. And somewhere through there, you need to laugh together. And you don't need to necessarily cry together, but you need to feel. Remember that vision leaks.
So good.
Please
So
hear
good.
that. Vision leaks. So I am forever having to remind people the why behind our what.
Yeah.
That's not vision week once a year. No, that may be in your church. But if you want to keep your leaders motivated, you're going to have to take a different slice of that, even for 5 minutes, every leadership meeting. Then number 5, and this is obvious, the people you want to help you will not be motivated by mere platform announcements, casual invites. Why don't you come help us in the youth group? And our cool looking bulletin inserts. If you still have a bulletin.
I was going to say, are we still doing that? Are we still doing
Yeah,
bulletins?
well, whatever you call that thing that people pass out of the door of the church, which gosh, they're god awful ugly, but nonetheless, if you're still doing that stuff. But that's how we think we get leaders. Now, I'm not saying that never works, but here's my candid 52 years of experience. Most of the people you get casually are not your most quality leaders.
Right.
That's right.
Many times, people responding to public announcements are more your EGRs, extra grace required, and you're thinking, "Whoo, go work in the nursery or something." I mean, or somewhere. I know the nursery is important. If you run your nursery ministry, it's the most important ministry in the church. But give them a background check before you put them in the nursery. But what I'm saying is, again, I think the way you get quality leaders is you look for people in your church that are way too busy, way too with it, because you want people, quite honestly, that many times have never thought of doing youth ministry, have never worked with teenagers or young adults before, and I call it shoulder tapping. And then that's another whole thing. I meet them for coffee. I just say, give it a try for 3 months. If it's not your deal, out without guilt. That's another whole coaching arena. And then last of all, and what I'm going to say to you is the right kind of recruiting and then taking care of volunteers and training them is the most time consuming, but the most multiplying thing you will ever do in ministry.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, by far. Yes, it takes a little time. And even if you're a volunteer, even more if you're a volunteer youth pastor, because you've way got to multiply yourself. And then last of all, the people, my last comment, the people you want to help you will respond. And gosh, they will, to clear vision, to burning purpose, and biggest of all, the consistent appreciation. Gosh, and by vision, I don't mean, again, we have to have a new mountain to charge each week. My vision was taking care of kids, and my vehicle was small groups. So every time leaders, everything built through small groups, everything. We were not a youth ministry with small groups. We were a youth ministry of small groups. Burning purpose, gosh, the 92% advantage, 92% of all American teenagers give their lives to Christ, or adults, period, that were surveyed, give their life to Christ on or before their 18th birthday. I call that the 92% advantage. Who would not? Well, what purpose? You can be at the tipping point. And then appreciation. Gosh, I still need appreciation.
Right. Right.
I would like to say to Aaron and Peter, you guys, I didn't hear a word you said about nice stuff about me at the beginning. That'd be a lie. I heard every word. I don't need people, beating my drum, but because I love both of you, I heard those words deeply. I still appreciate appreciation.
Right.
And but for all of you that are Enneagram people, I'm a number 2 on the Enneagram, so you know what a mess I am. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, I don't care if you're an 8 on the Enneagram challengers, you don't want kiss-ups around you, but you want somebody to notice. You want to create a culture where we're each other's cheerleaders. So again, and remember again, I say in my notes, remember that whatever gets rewarded gets repeated.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean money or some stupid trophy. Spare yourself the trophy. But unless for me, when I give you guys trophies, I paint a plunger gold. And that's your first place. Hello. Moving right along. All right, got it. So floor is open, gentlemen.
Yes. Well, I'll say this before we get started with our questions. If you have any questions for Mom, go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll do our best to get to them as quickly as we possibly can. There was so much good content shared already. We want to hear from you. My first question is, you already talked about it in your first point. The people you really want to help you are already too busy. That is incredibly intimidating, but absolutely necessary for all of us to hear. So other than you went into it a little bit with the shoulder tapping, what's your approach to someone that's incredibly busy? Because I don't just want, I want all types of leaders, but I want CEOs in our youth ministry. I want presidents and high-level executives in our youth ministry, because these are people who know how to lead people. What's your strategy to get them?
Well, first of all, the thing I'm looking for when I shoulder tap is somebody who smiles and looks like they could connect. They don't have to be cool.
Yeah.
But somebody who smiles and looks like they could love a teenager or a young adult. Yeah. And I know that sounds simple, but some people, when you look at them, you think, ugh, you may be good, but you'll never work, okay? And then others of us have the idea that unless you're a certain prototype, you're in your early 20s, you wear skinny jeans, and you say a certain language every other week, you're not going to make it. That's wrong too. So I am going to shoulder tap. Yay, shark fighters. I'm sorry, I can't keep looking at those comments. All right. But I'm not looking at those comments anymore. All right. But I'm just saying then, for me, again, it's trying to, when I said before, I had 3 levels of leadership, and they took less and less time, which I have to go, okay, if this guy's a CEO of a major company, he's not going to give me this, but can he give me that? Last of all, I've got to ooze that I believe in this ministry. And so, gosh, I've had amazingly busy people. And I've said, I know you haven't done youth ministry before, because most of your good people never have. I'm telling you, you've got what it takes. It's not tough. Listen to me say this. And it's not super time consuming. I just need you to personally connect with and a couple of teenagers, and I'll train you. And then the key line for getting to busy people is I do 2 things. I call it the World Vision Model. When I'm meeting with them for coffee right after church on the next week, after a shoulder tap, can I meet you before or after? If you don't have a coffee bar at your church, bring coffee, for heaven's sakes. You want that meeting to be 10 minutes, and you want it just you and them, or maybe a second, or their spouse. And then I always had a couple of teenagers that I could immediately say, hey, these would be your guys. If you're a guy, your girl, a couple of them. Just try it 3 months. Just try it 3 months. After the 3 months, if this is not deeply fulfilling to you, I want you to back away. No guilt.
Yeah.
See, busy people will try that.
Yeah, that's good.
Great.
I love that you're helping us understand, like, there should be different levels of leadership commitment. And I think I've seen too many youth pastors, and I probably did this myself until I went through Cadre and you unpacked a lot of this for us. But we tend to view leadership as like one size fits all, and so we want every leader to do everything, and we want them all to make the same commitment. We want them to come on every retreat, go to every camp, go on every missions trip, and that's our view. And for that reason, This is why oftentimes in youth ministries you're loaded up with like the young single adults, because they're the only ones that can make that kind of commitment.
Absolutely.
And that's great that you have, young, high energy, fun, relevant, but you also have a gaping hole when you don't counterbalance your leadership
Yes.
team with the
Yes.
parents and the older adults and those that have more life experience. They have so much to offer young people by way of here's what a Christian marriage looks like. Here's what a healthy family looks like. Here's what a business owner looks like who's serving the Lord faithfully. And students need to see that model for them. I would even make the case they might need to see that model more than the cool, fun, high energy young adult.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. And the reality is, and both of you know this, we all know this, the most unparented generation. So to give them somebody, not to take the place of a mom or dad, but who fills some of those emotional crevices.
Yeah.
And that takes a little age. I mean, you don't have to be old, but that takes being more than 22.
Yeah. Yes, so good. So we got a question here, Mom. I don't know that you may or may not know this person, Peter, Mom, but Joanna Reeves has a question.
I may not know that.
So Joanna is saying,
whoever's married to her got a good deal.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo!
Let's go, Peter.
So excited. We're still on live stream, Peter. All right, go ahead.
So, question: you talked about making meetings worthwhile. How have you made how often do you meet with your leaders? What's too much? What's too much space in between? So, how often did you meet with your leaders? What did that rhythm look like for you?
All right, let me real quickly answer that. You're looking at the girl who many decades ago, 4 decades, met her leaders every Sunday afternoon. This is in the good old days, which thank God are gone, where you had Sunday night service. So you always tie a leadership meeting to something they're already at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I met every blasted week. I was crazy. And this is allergy. I've already had COVID, didn't have any symptoms. I'm great. Okay, allergy, hay fever season in Atlanta. But I'm just saying, I think for us, the workable model, but boy, it was like the third Sunday, we went after the lunch. At Victory, we had 4 services. So, and by the way, I polled key leaders to say, I gave them, do you want to meet during the third service? Do you want to meet after the third service? Lots of times, if you have a little core with you, you can say, of these 2 options, what might work best? So then, and I put it consistently, third Sunday after the last service.
Right.
But I only did it once a month. And again, I think that's bare minimum. In Atlanta, everybody's so spread that it's a major drive. So I had to connect it to a service after service was over. Number 2, and some of you can do it during a service, like if you have multiple services and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, we did the huddle with the leaders before the service, but that's 10 minutes. That's not a big deal. And then her other part of the question was, McKenna, if you happen to hear this, give me a cough drop, will you? Forgive me for hacking. The other part was, was Joanna asking me, Peter, what would I do in that leadership meeting that made it engaging? Yeah, you talked about making worthwhile. How often did I have them? She just wanted to know what's too much. If it goes any longer than a month, I think you're in trouble. And but I took attendance, and I took it in a really, accountability way. I made a clipboard with all their names arranged by small group. And with a pen attached, I passed that clipboard down the aisle, and you saw, has this leader, did they miss last month? And now they're missing this month again? I mean, It was quiet, nonverbal peer pressure going up and down those rows. And because,
It's
again,
brilliant.
a football coach doesn't notice when their team players haven't made practice for a couple months. That's ridiculous.
Right.
And if you're and of course there are always valid reasons. And by the way, we would put on there EX, which stood for excuse. If we got notifications from them that why they couldn't make it. EX meant you gave us your reason before, it was valid. That was very different than an empty square. That meant you were a no-show, you didn't call, you're pitiful. Okay. All right, got it.
Yeah, point number 2 that you made was super good. And I want to know, like, I think a lot of people hearing that point are going, okay, so the people that I want aren't impressed with my leadership or my current ministry. How do I elevate my game? Now, I'm going to just do my plug here. Huh?
And some of them, I'm not saying nobody's impressed.
Right. Some of them. But this is where I think Cadre came into play, because we thought we were killing it until we came, and we're doing a good job. But then we came in and saw just what it could be and what could happen. And we were like looking at each other like, we got to change some things. We got to make some things happen. We got to see differently and dream differently. But what are some things people can do, Mom, to elevate their leadership game for the some who are not impressed?
Well, for one thing, make the target on the wall very clear of what you want from your leaders. My clear target was small groups. I did them. And again, I used to do them every week in a home somewhere in the city. Now, time-wise, that's a no-go. So my model is out of the 4 weeks, normal youth service, then one of those 4 weeks, shorten worship, then dismiss everybody to different locations in the church. They do small group there. I'm trying to really use time well for my students, but also the leaders. And then I would ask my leaders to have one fun fellowship thing or whatever at their own discretion away from church once a month. So, but I made my target on the wall. As you put together, I want all of your students to get one contact a week from one person, even if you mobilize some of a couple of your key students to do that. Yeah. Just a phone call, a personal text if they don't answer, so that we are life on life afterwards. But how do we make our leadership better? Make the target very clear, what you want of. And then secondly, be enthusiastic yourself. Some of us are so hesitant to ask people to join us. And I don't mean you have to be a salesperson. I am not a salesperson. People talk to me all the time about, Mom, you need to sell Optavia and stuff. Well, that's all glorious. So if you sell Optavia, God,
we love you.
Tithe to my nonprofit, because you're going to get filthy rich. But I'm not good at selling things, but I'm great at saying the need in today's young adult and youth culture is massive. And so that's the other thing that made it good, that people wanted to be with. I kept back to what I said earlier, vision leaks. I kept coming at it different ways, the why behind the what. I would ask different leaders different students to show up for a leadership meeting, give a 5-minute testimony of what, and don't just brag on your leader, say it was my leader, but you guys do this for all your kids. And they probably won't tell you, they probably won't say thank you. I'd coach that student before they shared. But again, making sure your target is clear and your meeting has life to it, why behind the what, pragmatics, and that your meetings, you always want your meeting to be done before your leaders are done. Then at the end of it, I would only go an hour. Then I would tell them that was their time to meet with if there's 2 of them, if they had student leaders who weren't at the actual leadership meeting, they would join them then for what we called huddle to plan small group.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, super helpful. Because I think sometimes, even when I heard you say that the first time, what do you want? You know what I mean? You're so busy sometimes looking at what everybody else is doing, and you're like, I think I want that, and I think I want that for my leaders. But when you sit down, make the target incredibly clear, it's easy to begin
And
to
not
lean.
overwhelming. If you're a detail
Right.
person, I'm a detail person. I want to really spell a lot of stuff out. You're going to chase everybody away, except for the disorganized people who talk a lot, who think they could climb Mount Everest tomorrow and they'll get put up. So, whoa, don't over ask.
Yeah, we have some really good questions for the chat right now. The first one is from Abby. She said, what are some questions you could potentially ask leaders to help you get a better idea of where that person is with Jesus / in leadership? What are some questions?
Yeah. The deal, Abby. You're going to, now I could give you all sorts of things. You're going to go with your gut, Abby. And you're not going to put them in charge of small groups when they first get in there. You can put them, you're going to see them for a little bit. You're going to put them, if you've already started small groups, you're going to put them in a small group being an assistant leader. Because you can ask all the questions you want, you know. I do, and this is so Captain Obvious, do background checks. Because now, unfortunately, you know, I used to make fun of that. I don't make fun of it anymore. And again, you know, hey, some of my best leaders have been new in their walk with Jesus. And so the truth is, you know, gosh, they've been some of my best because it's still fresh and alive. And they were teachable. And they had backed away from, I mean, it's not like they were shacking up with somebody of the opposite sex, obviously. I mean, they had made very clear calls, but Jesus was alive in their life. And so, you know, you can do a simple form if you want to ask questions, but keep it very simple if you want to. Yeah. I think looking at their social media tells you everything you need to know.
Bingo.
You know, just look at their social media. You will find out about them. And then their leadership, they probably, most of them will not consider themselves to be youth or young adult leaders or leaders. I make leaders. I don't just take people who are already leaders. If I can get a few that are already leaders, the busy people, oh, that's glorious. But on the other hand, listen, you're just wanting people who can care about a couple of kids of the same sex.
Yeah.
Don't overdo this. Everybody wants to feel like when they come to your young adult or youth ministry or any ministry, forget that. I want that as an adult, that somebody knows my first name, that somebody notices when I didn't make it last week and maybe checks up in a text and say, you okay? We just missed you. Wasn't the same. Simple things absolutely are game changing. And you can train people to do that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Hey, if you're just tuning in right now, we are with the legendary Mama Jeanne Mayo, and we're talking about key hurdles in growing your leadership team. So if you have any questions at all, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Mom, we lost Aaron, so we're just flying solo. We can make it happen.
And you know what? He got so motivated. He's going out to recruit people for his leadership team.
Exactly. That's perfect.
I'll get out of here and go do it.
Yeah. So we're going to give you a chance to go ahead and post those questions and kind of think through this. And if you need the notes at all, man, you can email us and we'll get them right to you, or reach out to us on Facebook and we're going to have these notes posted. If you're listening back on the podcast, they'll be in the show notes. Let's go to the next question. Again, this is from the beautiful Joanna Reeves. This is a great question. Hilarious. This says her personality to a T. She said, how do you gracefully turn away someone who wants to serve, but you know student ministry isn't the best fit for them?
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. All right. I would put them on what I call my support team. It's level number 3. They are not coming to the youth service unless it's a job that requires that. They don't come to my leadership meetings unless you feel like you need to, but you tell them, oh, let me tell you where I most need you. I'm going to give you ideas on the support team. I most need you to help drive our vehicles at key points. We don't have the money to pay for people to do that. Or I most need you to help us in serve snacks or coffee after, if you could help me in that key role so I don't have to think of that. Or I most need you to be graphic arts, or I most need you to help with the childcare for our leaders during leadership. Find a different role for them. Unless, and hear this, everybody, unless when you say they're not going to fit, what you're really saying is they have bad attitudes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
Bite the bullet, because bad attitudes spread to bad attitudes. Proverbs talks about the people, with that sort of disputive spirit. Then you just say, you are so amazing. Gosh, that you would volunteer, that you would offer yourself is so awesome. Right now, the kind of role that I think you would most enjoy is not available. And I think your personality would be brilliant and point them somewhere else. Or the other key line, I think maybe your gift set would work even better in. Now, and let me tell you, they may be mad at you, they may give you attitude. Better to bite the bullet now than later. Better.
Yeah, that's such a great answer. Billy Willis said, what is the typical outline for a leader meeting / agenda? And what's the target length of the meeting? I love this question because this is the nuts and bolts, which you are unbelievable at. So what would you say? What's the typical outline?
I love you. I'm seeing so many names on this thing I love and care about. An hour is the length.
An hour.
After that, I dismiss to what I call the huddles. So all of the small group leaders to plan, and I would put my leadership meeting, I would time it so it was 10 days a week. Like we did leadership meetings on Sunday. I would put the leadership meeting and our youth service on Wednesday. I would put the leadership meeting 10 days, not the Sunday right before a small group, but the Sunday before that. So it gave it 10 days. So they had plenty of time to plan their next small group and then to talk through what they were going to do as far as an outside activity that month. And so then I did not control, they controlled. Sometimes their huddle meetings were over quickly. Other times went longer. They went to different areas of the church on that. I didn't control that. And then basic outline, I'm going to start on time, which again, when you keep starting late, waiting for people, you're giving them permission to drag in later. That clipboard I referenced was a big deal. I would start usually with something positive. And it could sometimes just be fun. Okay, you guys, like 3 of you, tell me a fun, oops, not a serious one, a fun oops from COVID in the last couple of months, whatever. Or, hey, I want to hear 2 of you tell me something good from your small group. I mean, I said fun, but I just mean positive vibes. I'm going to set the vibe meter right up top, real positive. Somebody give me, and because you can always do shout outs from their small group, and that is magnificent. Then I would quickly go over schedule. They've already gotten it in the mail, but I'm going to print it and pass it out. I promise you, I'm not going to spend much time there at all. Where I will lean in, if it's before we have 2 major weekend retreats, I would lean in on motivating them to motivate their kids to come to the retreat. And gosh, we started pushing that 2 months before. Because I only did it twice a year. And our last high school retreat, it wasn't middle school, it wasn't college and career, high school retreat with just our kids and leaders was 780 kids. But we pushed, and my kids didn't have money. So that was oh my gosh, but we started 2 months before. And so, but that's when I would lean in a little longer in announcements if it's major event coming up. And then I would go to a topic highly relevant that I would train on. I always surveyed them at the beginning of each year. Give me 3 topics in order of priority, pragmatic, and I'd give them an idea that you want me to consider talking about in the youth ministry. Give me 3 personal topics, like how, as a leader, do I balance family and ministry? How do I overcome discouraging times when I feel like nobody's listening? Always give them ideas. Give me 2 or 3 in order of priority. And last of all, just your growth as a man or woman of God. Anything you want me to touch. Now, I would not get near through all of those, but I would see vibes, and especially in the pragmatics. So I was not talking, Peter, about something, and my teaching would last 15 minutes. Then usually, kind of in a cadre style, but much shorter, I would do interaction with my leaders on that topic. I wanted them, and they still say it from 40 years ago, 50 years ago, you made us better leaders. I have corporate execs not infrequently say to me, I learned leadership, Mom, from you, and how to create a group tenor culture. And then, we prayed together. And again, somewhere I do a teaching in my stuff about the 4 tenors of a leadership meeting, and you're going to go after a different one each time. One is all in the family. Another one is let's take the hill, militancy, that sort of thing. Another is Bible School 101, like pragmatics. And then the other one is what I call the potter's wheel. Let's just take time for you as a leader and encourage you in your walk with Jesus. So all leadership meetings, in my mind, are going to have one of those 4 that I'm pointing towards.
That's beautiful. So good, Mom.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Sorry, I disappeared. My home internet connection literally just disappeared. Everything was gone.
Everybody that you were so motivated, you were out recruiting volunteers.
I had a short leadership meeting with my team real quick. I was like, I got to tell you this right now.
Yes.
Come on. Don't make me change mine.
Hey, Mom, you're gonna love this question. We'll probably make this one of our last questions here. But this is from Wayne Northrup, and he says,
Wayne, you're so good.
He says, "Hi, Jeannie. As a lead pastor, what are the most effective ways I can support my amazing youth pastor as he builds his leadership team?" And like, boy, Peter, doesn't that just warm your heart to have a lead pastor asking that question right there?
It absolutely warms my heart. I actually went to intern with Wayne at the Oaks, and then he left. So call me, bro. No, he went to play the church. It was amazing. This is a great question.
Yeah, this is a great question.
Wayne, you're amazing. The fact that you're even on this thing says that you're not a typical lead pastor.
Yeah,
and I love you. Gosh, we've known each other a lot of years, but I would, and you know this, you already do this by your personality, but your greatest gift to your youth pastor is encouraging and saying, just tell them, I just appreciate what you do, and saying to them, listen, I want to help you get a strong leadership team.
Yeah.
And so, gosh, I would have killed. Now, when Stan was my lead pastor, he did it for me. But in the last years, obviously, he was not the lead pastor. I would have given anything. We had a church of 20,000 where I came from, and it was an amazing church. And I had amazing senior leadership. But I would have killed if they'd mentioned the youth group, because that gave credibility when I tried to ask leaders to come.
Right.
But, very rarely was it ever mentioned, or much less for the senior pastor to say, just once in a blue moon, listen, I would love for you to have one of your teenagers give a 2-minute sharing on how much the youth group has meant in their life. You choose who it is, youth pastor. You work with them. I'm going to give them 2 minutes in the main service. And then right after they share, whether it's part of the message on making a difference for Christ or whether it's announcements, and then I'm going to 2 sentences I'm going to say as the lead pastor. Can't think of anything in this wonderful church you could do that would be any more pivotal than being a part of the leadership team. There will be a couple of people in the lobby. If you're interested just in finding out more about giving it a test run, just stop in the lobby and talk to so-and-so. Oh, that's you've just built their leadership team up the wazoo. You've given it credibility, and I'll come work for you if you'll do that.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Mom, this has been so good. This has just been amazing wisdom and advice, and so practical.
Karen, you could not.
So inspirational,
what are you going to say? Mom, no offense, but it was an off day for you. I mean,
no, I don't think I'm brave enough to ever say that to you, but maybe Peter would, but I don't know, not me.
I will know it.
No.
I will know when I hit off day season before all of you. And I'm out before all of you. Later going, ooh,
let's go.
He needs to go run the old folks home.
Thank you so much for joining us today and being a part, and just in brilliant conversation. This has been so good. So wanted to mention 2 things real quick, Mom, before you go, and for all of you that are watching right now. So one, wanted you to know that next week, Peter and our live stream is going to be on Monday. It's going to be on Monday, just this one time, and Michael Mack is going to join us. And so if you have never heard Micah Mack, we got a real quick, like 10-second sermon clip here from LTG conference last year. Go ahead and let's just roll this clip so you can kind of meet who this guy is, because he's incredible.
God's called you for this very moment and this very hour. Do not stay silent about your faith. Go where he's called you to go. Take a step of faith. Don't limit yourself. Don't make it about you. Watch what God does as you say, God, here am I. Send me.
That was awesome. Remember he was in the back seat?
God, here am I. Send me.
Backseat. We're ready.
And he's in a van saying
He's in a van.
It looked like a van. Yes. Glory to God.
What we couldn't see is that his feet were in pudding that his kid dropped in his van, and God's called you to.
So good. Mike is going to be you're going to be with us next week, 11 o'clock Monday. So make a note. You'll get an email. If you're not a part of our email list, you can jump on our website, leadthegeneration.com, and you can sign up there. Hey, Mom, real quick. You've been a part of Lead the Gen conference several times. You were part of one of our live conferences a couple years ago. And then last year you were part of our online conference.
Which I did a million online conferences. It was by far the best one. By far.
You're too kind. But real quick, encourage people why they should make it a priority to take advantage of online conferences like Lead the Gen conference and get their whole team there. What the impact that has on your leadership team.
I'm not going to encourage them on online conferences because there are a bunch of them that aren't worth your time. I've looked at the speakers that Aaron's got on this one, and it's like the who's who of youth ministry. And he does all the work for you. And it is a brilliant, like a couple of you have already said you're going to do. You can just have a leadership session. You can give them pizza. I suggest something besides pizza, but give them food. And then all of them watch this together, and then they can go home that night, come back the next day. It is, and if you want to, obviously with that amazing lineup, you're probably going to have to choose. You may want to have viewings going to 3 different rooms at the same time with different. So those of you who want this, go here. Gosh. And then dialogue about it afterwards. Aaron has done all the work for you. Plus, I saw what you're charging. It is breathtakingly not expensive. Why would you not? And I'm not even trying to be nice. I'm not. Why would you not do this? This is ready-made. You look like a hero.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you've helped speak into what we're doing in ministry because of your impact on my life and my wife and our leadership team. And so, Mom, thank you so much, and thanks for being a part of making
My
a huge
honor. And
difference.
hey,
Yeah.
if anybody's interested in Cadre, go to JeanneMayo.com.
Yes.
Cadre, you can just, even if you just, there's a little app there. We firm up during the summer, and unfortunately, I always have to turn people away. Then launch in the fall, but you want to take a look at it now.
Yeah.
It's pretty game changing.
Well, and we just posted that link again in the chat for you to make it easy for you. So just click on the link and you can check out Cadre. And Peter, you said something earlier in the live stream, and I want to match you. You said that you'd be willing to put the first $100 towards helping somebody.
Yeah, but that's crazy, Peter.
I'll do the same thing, Pete. So because we believe in this, Mom. We believe in you.
Yeah,
we believe in your ministry. So please feel free to message me, message Peter, whatever,
that's $200,
Instagram, DM,
you guys.
whatever.
You would not do that.
Yeah,
you guys,
so
that's way too sweet.
yeah, no, but
Sweet.
Mom, like we believe in you, and we believe in you.
I think he cut out.
I think he cut out. He was
Well,
being Peter.
Here's what I think he was going to say. I think he was going to say, Bob, we believe in you and we appreciate you, and we would not still be in this changing lives, being a part of changing lives if it wasn't for you. So we're so I just want to end this stream before we go to the last video to promo the conference and say one of the most impactful moments that you had on me was at that last retreat when we were at your youth ministry retreat. And it was about 11:43. These times are really important to me. And I was complaining internally, I was complaining about needing to leave because I was so tired because we had traveled all day long. You got 700 kids there and you were sweating. You were just praying over kids like this was the last time you were ever going to see them. And I just want to say that blew me away. And that lit me on fire to know, like, wait a minute, there's so much I have to learn about youth ministry. What would keep her up praying at this hour with so much intensity? It was life-changing for me. I appreciate you. I love you.
So
Thank
good.
you for your leadership.
You're so good. Hey, the second night, it was 2:30 in the morning most mornings.
It was 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I just said, whoever was left, let's go. Let's go. So
well, we honor you, and we're so thankful for you. Go sign up for Cadre immediately, and make sure you sign up for the conference. It's going to be incredible. We will see you on Monday with Mike and Matt.
Text Aaron. Get my number. All right.
Boom, Char Blair. We'll see you soon. We love you guys. Have a good one. See you in the next one.